PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.
Asia is a huge market, and cell therapy is no exception. Today we're going to be discussing the Asian market for cell therapy, from the science, the regulations, pricing and reimbursement, and what Western companies can do to work with Asian collaborators. Today on the show we have Professor Oscar Lee, Professor of Orthopedic Surgery and Stem Cell Biology at National Yang-Ming University. Tell us about your activities in these different areas.
So what I do on a daily basis is not only to practice orthopedic surgery, but also spending time in the laboratory doing stem cell related research. I actually operate a big lab, so I'm also an educator. I have more than 20 postgrad students in lab. So this is what I'm, on top of those, I'm also Deputy Superintendent of Taipei City Hospital. So I'm in charge of the overall research and development activities of the whole hospital system. So this is what I'm doing on a daily basis.
It looks like you're connecting the researchers to the industry, to the regulators, and a lot of different parts together.
That's correct.
And also Asia to the Western markets, Europe and the US.
Yes.
One of the key things that we've been hearing over and over again today
Yes.
is the importance of collaboration in cell therapy.
Yes.
Could you please comment on that?
Oh yeah. So first of all, there's differences in culture as well as the language barrier. I think that's the major obstacle for Asia to be further understood and connected to the Western societies. So there are wonderful research as well as clinical trial activities going on in Asia as a whole, in Korea, Taiwan, China, India. But there are some misunderstanding because of this inadequacy in terms of a communication and collaboration. So people from the Western society tend to have impression that, well, there's full of medical tourism, those are unproven cellular therapies being offered in, say, for example, India or China. I would say, I'm not saying that there's absolutely no such thing ongoing. I'm just trying to say there are very sort of high standard, high quality research activities and clinical trials going on in Asia. So I forgot to mention Japan. There also are very good research and clinical trial activities related to the promotion of cellular therapy going on in the Asia region as a whole.
And we see time and time again large pharmaceutical companies based in Europe and the US scouting for new opportunities to invest in, to collaborate and co-develop. If they wanted to look for researchers or technologies within the Asian market, how can they do that?
So I think harmonization is a keyword. So the same protocol, same standard of clinical trials, that has to be maintained, and that overall will further facilitate the acceleration of progress of the development, clinical development of cellular therapy in Asia. So my suggestion to the industry, those giant pharmas or cellular therapy companies from the Western society, is that so start with finding appropriate partner. What I mean by appropriate partner is that he or she understands the rules of cellular therapy, generally speaking, in the Western countries, societies, and then he or she has a good language command, well, the English language, of course, and then in the meantime, he or she is the key opinion leader in the field of cellular therapy in their mother countries. So with that, I think it's going to be a reasonable approach. And again, International Society for Cellular Therapy, ISCT, is going to be a wonderful platform for matchmaking, if you would, to help these giant pharmas to find appropriate partners to work together. Or what I mean by partner is not limited to PIs. It can also be local companies which have a network in the Asia region. So with that, I think the overall development of cell therapy can be further accelerated.
for someone who's so well connected around the world and
Yes.
is quite good at promoting oneself,
Yes.
about your research, your activities within Taiwan and other areas,
Yes.
what sort of work are you doing to promote the same and cultivate the next generation of scientists like
Yes.
yourselves?
So I would say at the end of the day, it's still the science. So if there's no good science, there's not going to be decent patents, they're not going to be useful products. So coming back to basis, at the end of the day, it's still science. And science is a language which is common to all. So science is something that can further break the barrier of language.
The scientific foundation.
Yes, absolutely. So that's my suggestion to the next generation young scientists. Just stick to science. If we do science in a scientific fashion, then your work will and can be appreciated by the peers from different regions of the world, provided the quality of science is good. That's my suggestion.
Biotechnology R&D or pharmaceutical R&D is quite costly, and cell
Yes.
therapy is not an exception.
Yes.
In terms of the investors' maturity or sophistication within
Yes.
Asia, can you
Yes.
please comment on that? Maybe comparison to the Western VCs and angels and so on?
So there is money around in Asia region as a whole, looking for a good target for investing. So there is angel, to my knowledge, they are very active angel investors looking for early stage targets for investment. Yes, they are. Compared to that, in all of the Western investors, certainly these investors in Asia region, they more or less are very, very much aware of the situation, and I would say they realize the situation. So they are quite comparable to those who you can come across, say in Silicon Valley or in Boston or in San Diego or here in London. Quite comparable, and they are very active. Sometimes they even give a better, greater valuation to early stage startups. So I would very much also encourage the investors, in particular those who are primarily focusing on seed round or round A, those early investors, to come to Asia and see again ISCT. We in the Asia region can be of help.
It's very important to develop sound science,
Yes.
but also, perhaps more importantly, is to deliver these products or these therapies to the
Yes.
patients that need it around
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
So within Asia, what sort of trends do you see in terms of pricing and reimbursement, government support for patients and paying for these therapies?
Yes, so in Taiwan, that's where I'm from. So we have a national health insurance scheme, which is very similar to the British NHS system, and the pricing strategy for drugs, there is a fixed formula. I think it's quite fair. In other sort of leading countries too. Pricing strategy, I think would be calculated in a fair fashion, because we all understand that it's costly. It's going to be nothing cheap. It's not going to be anything cheap. So yes, but taking that in mind, it's also a good sort of reminder for the industry, for the companies, try to develop or to refine the manufacturing process to achieve a cost down of their products. I think that's the best way to help the most amount of patients. So that cellular therapy, well, I never think cellular therapy is reserved for the rich people. Everyone who's in need should be given cellular therapy, provided those are really products are really helpful and can help the patients. So.
Thank you, Oscar. It's great
Sure.
to have your insights on the Asian market in terms of cell therapy.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more information about PharmaVentures, visit our website